All right, welcome everyone. This is the Kubeflow Model Registry um, community call, soon to be renamed the Kubeflow Hub call. Um, so a quick note, today is Monday, March 16th, not March 16th, March 30th, um, 2026. This is a CNCF just like all Kubeflow meetings, this is follows the CNCF Code of Conduct. Um, just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Kubeflow community YouTube channel. Before we begin, is there anyone new who would like to introduce themselves? All right, if not, I will go ahead through the agenda items. So first up, an item we've had for a while and gone through is the community graduation, CNCF graduation. I think I checked and it looked like the status of the board was pretty much the same as last time. We're at the top of this column. Has anyone else heard anything else on this? All right. And then Mateo, was there anything else to note on the second item?
No, I just want to keep it highlighted because eventually, if you will hear some comments as they will evaluate now that it is first in the list, this is something that we can always discuss with the security team.
Awesome. Sounds good. And then we've got this item, Copilot for AI-assisted code reviews. We talked about this a little bit last time. Um, Essentially, we just need to go ahead and make the request to get this enabled. I didn't get around to doing that last week, so I will try to do that in the next week. If someone else wants to take it, feel free, but that should be pretty quick and easy. Um, Then we have AI guidelines. So there was a PR, and then I think there was a separate PR that actually got merged. But so now essentially, if you go to kubeflow.org and community, no, where is it? Somewhere we've got the we just AI policy. This has now been added to the website, and so we just want to add um, probably just a reference to this from our repo so that people don't miss this. Um, More or less, we want to make sure people are using AI responsibly. Humans actually understand the code. We're kind of calling it out when PRs are heavily authored by AI, and just that we're following copyright and whatnot. So thanks to everyone who's worked on that. Um, this is still a pending item. I believe we haven't done this yet. So if anyone wants to take that, feel free. Otherwise, whoever kind of gets to it first can. One other item, issues with FOSSA in the past. I won't spend a lot of time on this, other than to mention I'm hoping to look into maybe some mitigations against kind of future problems. At the moment, things are working okay, but possibly switching FOSSA from the sort of direct API integration to GitHub Actions. But this would just require a little bit of writing up a quick proposal and kind of explaining the issues we've run into to the steering committee. Um, so that's about it on that point. And then this is actually just a follow-up from last time. We kind of mentioned the 1.11 release, and there was a question, is there any just notes or updates? I think there wasn't too much to go over. We mentioned moving to a calendar cadence. Um, for now, keeping our model registry repo and project version as is. Anything else to note on this?
I just want to say I reached out to Valentina as well about the releases, and there's nothing fundamentally changing. The calendar cadence is just going to be what we're doing moving forward. It's going to keep the same um, the release schedule that we've been doing. So our 2603 is the next one.
Perfect. Um, And then the next item, Trivy. Matteo or someone else may have something to mention on this, but in short, there was a pretty major security incident with the Trivy project itself. If you kind of Google for it, you'll find it pretty easily. Um, so there was some discussion in a PR here. We did disable it, although I believe we'd been pinning the version and maybe weren't using a vulnerable version ourselves. So if there's anything else we need to discuss here, otherwise this is just kind of for awareness.
Yeah, no, correctly summarized, John. The thing is that at the beginning of this month, we always keep the GitHub action fresh through Dependabot. So that was done at the beginning of the month. So we were on the latest release, so we were not impacted even for that. But also 1 week before this incident, Alessio did a great work in pinning by SHA Digest all the GitHub action. This is actually something that we do for the OpenSSF scorecards to improve our sort of like stance, security posture over there. So this was one of the great work that also sort of like doubled down on pinning the SHA. So I would say with both strategy, we were not impacted and not affected even going forward. Though discussing with the Kubeflow security team, they've asked at least sort of like, yes, this is the advice that we receive from CNCF. So they are just blanketing, applying it to all the components, also just for blanket apply to all the components, even though I shall repeat, we are not affected, we are not impacted. So what we did is that we disabled the workflow so not to release the Git history by removing the files, which I think is important. And we are pending for more information from the Kubeflow security team.
Sounds good. Thank you for all that, Matteo, and thanks Alessio for that PR. That was perfect timing, it seems. Um, so next up, we have a quick demo of UI features. I think Mike may have something to share on this. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, let me go ahead and share my screen here. I think it
Awesome.
doesn't want me to take over for your share.
So I'll need to stop sharing, essentially.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll demonstrate, well, first of all, let me get this working. Step two, okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Can I get rid of this bar? Yeah, I can move that. Okay. All right, so I can show a few features that we've been working on. I'm going to show these in mock mode locally just to avoid cluster issues getting in the way of the demo, but this is all available. At least the register and store things are available in the model registry page. The MCP catalog that I'll show right now is still finishing development, so it's only available in standalone mode currently, but that's being prepared for release. But real quick, so we have some new functionality in the UI based on the async copy job functionality that's been available from the backend for a while. If you are registering a model, one of the choices here, we have this new selector. There's a register mode, which is just functions exactly how the UI does today. And then there's this new register and store mode. And if you choose that, it asks you to enter a job name and then select a namespace to run that job in. And if you choose a namespace, it'll validate whether that namespace has access to the model registry so that it can, when the job completes, it can register the model on your behalf. So I would have to choose one that has that access, and then it'll let me proceed. And then it's similar to if you're registering a model without the storage, except you have credential fields added. So I could enter my S3 endpoint bucket region and path, and then my access key ID and secret access key for it to be able to pull that model. Or you can still specify just a URI model location if it's a public model that you want to copy. And then for the destination, you would specify a registry, a URI, a username and password for your OCI compatible storage. This is to allow you to set up your own storage that's either in the cluster or anywhere you need it to for providing your users a quick way to consolidate their models that they're registering in a central storage or whatever storage they need to as part of the functionality of the registry. So because I'm in mock mode, I won't submit this, but that's how you would fill it out. And you would click register. You would get an alert in the corner. Actually, maybe in mock mode, we have that alert triggering. Let me just enter some nonsense and see. Will it allow me to do this? Yes. So if I register, yes. So we get model transfer jobs started, and it offers you the model transfer jobs page. That link is also available. If I were to like close this tab and come back later, you could click on this kebab and say view model transfer jobs. Both of those go to this page. And this page shows you the transfer jobs that you have running. So you can see we have some mock ones here. This is one that I just created and it is pending. And you can see some of the older ones, like this one has failed, and it'll explain why. You can see the event log, and if you need to, you can see which pod was assigned. I think this mock one doesn't show that event, but you would normally be able to see which pod was assigned so that you can go look at those logs if you need to. And then you can see that it's complete. This one would have registered the model when it's complete, and you can see these links are, this model name and version name are not a link when the job starts because that is what will be registered, not registered yet. Once it is registered, you get a link to take you there. So I'll click that in a moment. But also if the job has failed, you can retry it. So if you click retry, you get this modal, you can enter a new job name, and then you can choose whether to delete the failed one or not. And when you click retry, it kicks off the same job with the same inputs. So that's if the job failed due to something that was not your inputs, like cluster resource issues, etc., you can quickly retry it using the same inputs. So once it's succeeded, you can see it'll let you navigate to the registered version. So this would be the version that's registered by the job. And it would have the metadata that I entered when I chose to register, which would be put into the job as an intent to register that metadata. And then you can see the storage location. It'll reference like, hey, the credentials are present in this secret in this namespace if you wanted to go look at that or reuse that. And this is the URI. And then you can also reference the storage source details. So this is, we still have the secret around for where it came from if you need to go and look at that based on the storage that happened. And then everything else just functions the same way as the rest of the registry does. So it's just another way to register a model while copying it into your own storage that your team has provisioned. So this has been something that's been a long time coming, and we've had other priorities, and finally we've been able to get to it. So I think this is a nice impact. You can also do this from registering a new version to an existing model, by the way. So if you select an existing model, you still have this register and store option, and it'll be a different job intent so that it registers a new version to that existing model. So same flow as we have today for register, except you can just also store it.
That's
So
awesome.
before I move on, any questions about that feature?
Not a question, but thank you so much, Mike, for this development from you and the team, but also taking the time to show it to us in today's call.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and thank you guys for waiting while we hammered out some issues with it and had to prioritize it among other things. And it's great to be able to finally get this out and get it in people's hands because I know it's been a long time coming. Okay, so I'll move on to the MCP catalog. This is a little bit still in development. I think there may be some rough edges on it, but we can show this is MCP servers that are offered as part of your catalog. Very similar to the model catalog view. There's a lot of reuse here, but this has some different filters using the same filter mechanism on the back end. So we're reusing a lot of the things that we've built for model catalog and the backend that you guys built for model catalog in order to kind of retain some of the benefits of problems we already solved there and how you would handle server-side filtering and such. But these are the different sources. Similar to model catalog sources, you can have different MCP server sources And then if you go into one of these sources, you can show all. I guess that's the same. Yeah. So, okay, the all tab, just like model catalog, you get a summary of each source with a couple models from it. You can click show all, which is the same thing as navigating to these tabs. And then if you click on a model name, you can see a little more detail. Again, very similar to the model catalog detail page. The one big difference is we have this tools section, which is an accordion here of the different tool calls that MCP server provides with some metadata on that. So you can get a glance of what this MCP server offers you in terms of tools with some filtering and then pagination on this. So this is the big addition. Otherwise, we've got a description, we've got some details, the artifact itself, and a README here. So this is the MCP catalog. This is, I believe, going to be available, I think, in the next upstream release. I'm not sure about that, but there's some stories here that we need to finish wrapping up. But I believe this may actually be feature complete. I need to talk to Manaswini. She's been the lead on this feature. But yeah, this will be available soon.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mike.
Of course. Yeah, thank you. I'll stop my screen share here.
So any questions on any of that for Mike? All right. Let me start my screen share again. All right, awesome. Yeah, that's a lot of great features there. To help us copy from any public Hugging Face, external S3 buckets, URIs, anything. And then the MCP stuff is really neat too. That's, just one additional reason we're sort of renaming to Hub, right? We're not just a model registry anymore. So with that, we have some follow-ups. We've discussed these a few times. Did anyone sort of since last time take a look at Alessio's catalog gen CLI tool? Or did Alessio, you want to add anything on this?
I just want to say that for now it's a bit on hold because we are working on the MCP catalog issues, and before moving to the next phase, it's better to have everything stable.
Sounds good. And then we'd mentioned a few items under sort of the next Kubeflow release. Some work happening to sort of enable model registry with UI by default. These are all sort of related. So there was a request for review, and Mike was gonna sort of champion reaching out to whoever might be able to help with this and helping move things along here. Mike, were there any updates or anything you wanted to discuss on this?
No new updates here. I reached out to Lucas and Eder. I think they'd be more familiar with some of the context here, so I want to make sure that I'm understanding everything before I kind of push this forward too much. I'm going to talk to them. I'm waiting to hear back from them. But yeah, I need to take a closer look here.
Great, sounds good. I see we have few updates in since the last meeting in the last few days. So that's great. Next item is the renaming. So we've been discussing this for quite a while now. Chris has had a cap up for a little while, and I think we're pretty much ready to merge this. I think we're even planning to merge it after last meeting and didn't quite get to it. So one more small addition from Matteo just about updating the logo. And thank you, Matteo, also for submitting this ticket to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It
That
doesn't have to wait. It doesn't have to wait for this comment to be enacted on that PR, just so to speak. Is like we can even just go and merge as is and simply we can track later that we will need the update to the logo. So I just wanted to raise the Jira to the CNCF, and then we can use it as part of our implementation plan.
Perfect. So this was the idea, basically just replace model registry with hub here. And then the Kubeflow SDK, did we have any additions on due diligence for clients? Not, I will move on. So again, these are kind of follow-ups from last time, so I can move these to done if there's nothing to add. But Chris had a POC for MCP catalog, and I think we have got most of this work merged in. Essentially, the POC was sort of split up and turned into more production ready, properly reviewed, sort of separate PRs. So does anyone want to mention anything here?
Nothing major here. I think it was a really useful reference for us, so thank you for that.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Chris, and thanks, Mike, for kind of sharing what that looks like a little bit. So I think this was sort of a duplicate item. I think we had that above, so I'm just gonna remove this. Correct me if I'm missing anything. And then we had this Docker Compose UI item that took us a while to make some traction on. Ramesh looked at this, I believe, and submitted a potential fix. I think some of us were testing it and it seemed to work on our machines. Others, it maybe didn't. So if anyone wants to give this a try, I think it may have been on like Apple Silicon machines in particular, where we were typically running into issues. So if anyone wants to give this a try and see if it is still an issue, feel free.
Yeah, I think is the more that we explore about, seems that we converge that seems to be an issue when testing it with Podman on Mac.
That's
Regardless of
right.
Apple Silicon or Intel, I think it's more that kind of that issue. So maybe if anybody's using Podman on a Mac, then will be, and if anybody can confirm that this is a problem of Podman on a Mac, we can even close this one and simply say that it's not supported. But I just wanted to make sure because I was quickly trying and it was still not working, so it was the same behavior.
Right. So Podman and Podman Compose as well, I believe. All right. And then a couple items that we pretty much finished discussing, I would say last time, the release 1.11 slides, blog, video. Those were all great. So check the last community call videos if you want to see discussion on those items. And Chris was made a reviewer. We did merge that PR. So again, congrats, Chris. And then just a couple of general reminders that we sort of discussed last time. Thanks for bringing up some of these, Matteo. Just any demos, discussion points, sharing PRs, anything else are always welcome in this meeting, of course, but also Matteo called out that demos and short videos to showcase our work could also just be recorded and added to the YouTube channel. And if anyone needs help editing anything, it doesn't have to be super polished or anything, but if you do want to kind of stitch some clips together, cut out any silence in the middle, feel free to ask for help on that as well. So any other general reminders to add or discussion points? All right. If not, then I think we can pretty much conclude. If there's anyone else that wanted to, introduce themselves at the end or add any last minute points, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll call it here. All right. Thanks everyone for joining, and see you next time.
Thank you.